Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's still the Genius Kids show on Radio Maria 91.3 FM, the voice of truth. And we are here to tell you the truth of routines, the truth about routines, and how you can spike the genius in your child by establishing a routine for that child. Continuing with the importance of having a routine, why you must develop a routine for your child, we'll be looking at point number 4. It helps in setting priorities. Yes, it helps children to know what's important, what's not important. Routine is a great way to pass on family values. So, what's important to you? Yeah, it's time to reflect. What's that thing that is important to you? Is family time important to you? I know of a friend who sets out 5 p.m. every Sunday evening to call family. So 5 p.m. they'll call grandpa, call grandma, and the children actually look forward to this. Everybody now knows, even the grandparents know at this time, whatever they're doing, they're trying to clear their schedule so they will be prepared and ready to receive the call. What is happening now is that they are indirectly, though consciously, because nowadays is intentional parenting. If you're not intentional about anything, anything will happen to your children. So what they're actually doing now is passing a message to the children that family time is important, relations are important, family is important. So the children now know that whatever happens, family is family, and they are keeping to that. You see, so routine is a great way to set priorities. When kids see something on their routine and it reoccurs every morning, they're supposed to wake up and pray. They already know that prayer is important. They know Bible study time in the family is important because it keeps coming up. They know that taking your bath, personal hygiene is important. They know, yeah, you're already teaching those kids how to set priorities, and these are life skills that will help them later in life, you know. A lot of people, a lot of us in the workplace, you just have competing interests, you have competing deliverables, and you're unable to manage yourself very well. But if you have been bred to organize your time, to set priorities, you see you'd be better placed to manage your competing deliverables and be able to strategize and deliver optimally. So it's important to set routines for your children because it will help them to set priorities. It will help them know what is important and what is not important. Okay? Moving on to the next point. Routines make children more cooperative. Yes, I'm a living testimony of this. Routine makes children, I know toddlers especially, can be a pain. Those people have a mind of their own. And I know handling them is not always easy. But do you know, to make things easier for you, if you set a routine in place, they know that no matter what happens, this must happen. So they will fight you day one, fight you even week one, week 2, week 3, week 4. By week 5, they're like, oh, it's like this, my strategy is not working. It's like no matter what I do, we'll still brush our teeth. They will then begin to cooperate. So routine helps children to be more cooperative. If they know, like, if your child is not naturally inclined to story time, not all children love stories. Most children do, but not all children love. Some would prefer to play, some would prefer to just fix their eyes on that TV. So if you're now trying to introduce story time to your children, then the moment you say get your book, they're like, Mommy, I'm tired, I don't want to read. And you read it still. Next time you read it again. And by the time you've done this consistently for weeks, that child will say, in fact, you would see the child beginning to pick interest in it because they're now beginning to listen and hear some things that are actually fun. They begin to see the fun in that activity. So routines help children to be more cooperative because, as we mentioned earlier, children love certainty. They love to know what comes up next. So when they know what comes up next, they would cooperate. Like if you have Saturday activities where you take your kids to the park, and then you take them to the park this week one Saturday, and you get there, it's time to go, they are struggling and they don't want to cooperate, they don't want to leave, and you manage to take them home, and then you come again. By the time you've done this for successive times, they now say, oh, we actually will come back here some other day. So it actually has a start and an end, and I must go. They would cooperate. So set a routine in place and stick to it, and you will have yourself to thank because it will even help you to distress. It will help you to manage tantrums. It will help you to be in a better mental state. Moving on to the next point, routines help children develop self-regulation and responsibility. This is about my favorite reason for having a routine, because when you do something repeatedly, consistently, you adapt to it, and you may even do it without any monitoring. So your child knows when they wake up, it's time to, okay, I'll give an instance. We usually pray while dropping my kids off to school. Once we get to the third road, I would say, oh yeah, who will pray for us? They will now begin, me. So I noticed nowadays I don't even have, once we get to that third road, one of them will say, in the name of my father, I saw. So they're already knowing that once we get to this third road, so they are self-regulating themselves. They are becoming more responsible. And don't we all want that? We do, I know you do. So routine helps children to self-regulate themselves. If children know that before you can watch TV, you must clear your toys, and you insist on that, and they do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When it's TV time and you're telling them, what do you do before TV? You see them rushing to pack their toys because it's time for the next. So they're already assuming responsibility. And then speaking on responsibility, routine is a great way to breed responsible children. I'll explain in a bit. When we are growing up, and in fact, I'm afraid for the future of grown-ups, or the future grown-ups we may be having, because of the pattern of upbringing a lot of people are exposed to today, with the best intentions anyway, but we need to do better as parents. When we were growing up, a lot of us would wake up and have series of chores to do before going to school, and you still have to get ready and go to school in time to avoid punishment. Nowadays, some people's routine is just wake up, brush, take your bath, eat, and zoom off to school. It's not a bad one at all. It's not a bad one, but it could be better. And I encourage us to begin to, put in age-appropriate chores here and there for your children. That will make them to be more responsible. There is no child too little to do a chore, and there is no child too big to do a chore. Yes, a child's chore could be bring out my socks and my shoes. A child's chore could be fill the bottles, or turn off the lights. When you're done bathing in the bathroom, fold your towel and keep. Whatever, but let them know, and that is their chore. Let them know that it's their duty. Let them know that when they wake up, it's time for them to bring the Bible and light the candles for morning prayers. Whatever it is, just begin to develop age-appropriate chores for your children. As they grow, you trust them with more responsibility, okay? So it's important to do this in order to imbibe self-regulation and responsibility in your children. Another reason why we all must have a routine for our children is that routines help you stay on track with your parenting goals. What parent doesn't want their child to be the best? None. We all have dreams. We all have goals. We all have aspirations. We all have an image of what we want our child to be. But most times we fall short of this because we are unable to plan well. Routines are a great way to help you plan well and incorporate those things that matter to you as a parent. You want your child one day to be in the Olympics, and there is nothing on their routine that prepares them for that. You want your child to know 5 languages by age 10, and you don't even speak your local language to them. I know so many people, so many of us are guilty of this. We have lofty dreams, we have lofty ideas, we have so many things we want our children to be. We want our children to be everything we could not be. Not bad at all, but we will not be able to achieve this if we do not stay intentional by putting something in their routine that prepares them for that. I know of a family, and I keep asking her, how on earth are you able to manage all this? You're a very busy mom, you do this, you do that, you work round the clock, yet every day of the week there is an activity for her children. which they must follow. Today they're in music class, tomorrow they're in swimming class, the next day they're in ballet class, the other day they're in taekwondo class. And I'm like, ooh, I'll be like you when I grow. But we'll be here wishing, and those ones are becoming already what they should be. So this is an awakening call. Everybody wake up, rise up, get your books, write down those things, those your goals, those your aspirations. What are, in fact, before you start having kids, what are those things you were envisaging your kids would be? What are those things you were wishing your child would be? Begin to write them now, and then begin to incorporate them in your routine to help that child become all of that. Then the last reason, the reason I ain't exhaustive, but like I said, I would be giving us just aids so I don't overburden you with information, you know. So the last point we'll be considering is you should give your children a routine because children crave for routines. Yes, they actually want it. They're like, mommy and daddy, give me a routine. Like I said, kids are afraid of the uncertain. They are afraid of things they want to be able. That's why. Have you ever wondered why children like to read a story 1 million times and you are bored? Because they like what they are familiar with. They like it. They want things to be the way they should be. Of course, spontaneity is important. Change is inevitable. Things must change, but children want routine, and children need routine to develop. Okay, they need routine to develop as they should. So do well to give them a routine. Let me leave us with this quote by Barbara Colorosa. Barbara Colorosa said, our children are counting on us to provide two things: consistency and structure. Children need parents who say what they mean what they say, and so that children need parents who say what they mean what they say, and do what they say they would do. So children need that consistency, they need that structure, and you would do well to give that to them. Then Adam Mansbach once said, children crave routine. I like that. Like, give it to me, give it to me. Children crave routine and find listening to them to the same stories over and over again soothing. So if you've grown weary of holiday books, you've read your kids 7,883 times, try adding Jude to the end of every line. That sounds funny, yeah, but there's a lot of sense in it. So if you've grown tired of doing things repeatedly or having your child follow a particular routine over and over again, just put some spice to it, but don't take away the routine, okay? We'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we will explore how we can help our children develop a good routine.